It's Monday, February 8th, and you're watching The Great Lost Rewatch. Today we're talking about LAX. Like Liz said, this is more of a what we thought of the episode, let's all talk about this together. All year we were wondering, did the plan work? Did the reset button get pushed essentially and send our survivors back to Oceanic 815 and the plane never crashes on the island? Or will we just continue with the island story after the bomb exploded? Turns out it's both. Gotta talk about that first scene. Jack knows something. He doesn't know what it is, but he can just feel that he's supposed to have some kind of emotional connection. Everybody's already pointed out the many differences between this scene and the opening scene. By the way, whoever made this, like, side-by-side comparison is my hero. But there's just little differences, like Cindy gives Jack 1 liquor bottle instead of 2. Rose is the one who initiates the conversation with Jack, trying to calm him down. The little things are different, like the amount of vodka Jack gets, Hurley being lucky, Shannon not coming with Boone. But if you look at it, like, essentially these characters are the same people. Like, Jack is a doctor who has to fix things, and Locke is still in a wheelchair, and Kate is still a fugitive. Of course, a massive difference is that Desmond is on this flight. Or is he? Liz already talked about this, and I'm one of those people who thinks that Desmond was not there. And we have that great underwater shot. I know a lot of people are complaining about the special effects, but it's a flipping television show. That's impressive. It's clear that setting off Jughead in 1977 had more of an effect than even Daniel Faraday speculated. Then we go back to Jack dropping Jughead and Juliet hitting with the rock. How many times are we going to watch that scene? Don't get me wrong, it's incredibly moving and great, but like, at this point, all I wanted to do was watch the new episode of Lost, and between the hour recap beforehand and the previously on Lost before the episode started, and now this, I was like, okay, we get it, she hit the bomb, I'm there. And at this point, I'm going, okay, some people are still on the island, but others got blasted back in time. Okay, I'm following along with that. But then there's Jack on the island, and I am like, Abu? Just really great seeing characters that we hadn't seen in a long time, like Charlie, of course. As soon as they're like, there's this guy in the bathroom, and I'm like, oh my god, it's Charlie. And Boone, always great to see Boone, although you can tell Ian Somerhalder has been playing a vampire on the CW because his delivery was like very sad and very serious, and I was like, shake it off, Boone. So it turns out that Juliet was not quite dead yet. She and Sawyer got to reunite one last time in a really emotional, you had to have a heart of stone not to be moved by it scene. But of course she dies because she's on another show, but not before mentioning how she wants to go Dutch on coffee, and Juliet seems to be kind of aware of the two worlds going on. Speaking of the two worlds going on right now, I don't think we had the episode The Constant on accident. I think that idea of consciousness jumping between not only times, but I think in this case, worlds, is going to come back and be critically important in some way. At least that's what I think. I'm usually wrong. Ram shoots Locke, which was a huge mistake, and then in comes the smoke monster. And then the monster leaves, Ben is looking around and turns, and there's Locke saying, I'm sorry you had to see me like that. Jacob appears to Hurley, says that you gotta take Saeed to the temple, so they take Saeed to the temple. We have more others. I'm calling them the other others. They seem to be much more hardcore than our typical others, complete with Guy who does not speak English just to piss me off. Why? What is the purpose of that guy not speaking English? It's just to drive me crazy. So every time he says something, I have to wonder, is that what he's really saying? They take Saeed to the spring, which is supposed to be clear, but it's very dirty, and they hold Saeed underwater until he can't breathe, and then Saeed dies, and I am like, oh no! Because, like, you can believe it. Like, this is season 6. Anything could happen. The Marshal lets Kate go to the bathroom and she escapes. How stupid are you, Marshal? Also in this world, Sun still says that she can't speak English. I think she actually can't speak English. That's going to be something different. And when we see Claire, when Kate gets in the cab, we only see her from the neck up. I don't think Claire's pregnant in this reality. Hurley tells the others that Jacob is dead, so they start to barricade the doors and spread ash everywhere. It's to keep him out. Him who? They had so many opportunities in this episode to give us a name. Another great scene in the four-toed statue when Locke says to Ben that Locke was very confused when you killed him. In fact, his last thought was, I don't understand. I don't understand. The John Locke story. I want to go home. Where is home? I know a lot of people are thinking that home is the temple, although in the 5th season we see him below the temple, which isn't the temple, I know, but you think if he could get there, he could get there. I say this now, if we find out that the smoke monster is an alien who just wants to phone home, I will be incredibly disappointed that the show decided to Spielberg out on us. My idea with this, and that's what it is, just an idea, is that the island is Alcatraz, essentially, for Black Shirt Guy, Black Smoke Monster. And Jacob and his acolytes, their mission is to keep the Black Shirt Guy monster on the island and don't let him go home to the real world where he will wreak havoc on us all. And that's kind of over the top epic, isn't it? But I love it. I love like the huge scale of good versus evil. A great scene in the 8:15 OK world between Jack and Locke when Jack's trying to locate his father's dead body. Interesting that the body is still missing, by the way. And Locke lost his knives and they have a conversation. I love this idea that Jack might help Locke, you know, walk again. I love it. I love where that storyline is going. I know a lot of people are venting their frustration in this Oceanic is Okay universe, but I like it. I'm much more interested and invested, at this point anyway, in what's going on the island. But I like the Oceanic Okay world because it reminds me of why I liked a lot of these characters in the first place, especially Locke. Richard in Chains, I mean, he was a slave on the Black Rock, probably. Who knows? That's kind of obvious and they tend to steer away from the obvious answers, but that's where I'm leaning. We go back to the temple and after being dead, Saeed rises again and says, what happened? Now I know a lot of people are saying that Jacob is now Saeed, and that certainly seems to be the logical conclusion there, but I don't know. I'm not 100% sold on that. I think it might, I don't know. I honestly have no idea what's going on there. That's the end of the episode. I am so happy Lost is back. Like, many times during the commercial breaks of this episode, I was thinking, all is right with the world. I am watching Lost. I'm gonna try and get these up sooner. This week was just crazy for me, and also this episode was,
We're gonna need to watch that again.
Literally what I'm doing is I have my Lost DVR and I'm just going through it, and when things pop into my head, I'm going to stop and talk about it.